Today we're going to go over how to change sales tax and tax classes. The first thing we want to do is go over the differences between sales tax liabilities versus tax classes. The first thing we want to look at is sales tax liabilities. Sales tax liabilities are funds collected from customers to be distributed to state and local tax agencies by businesses. Examples of these inside of control are my county tax, my state tax, and national tax payable. Now, tax classes, however, is a grouping of taxes a customer would pay in a particular city, state, or country. So let's say in British Columbia, a customer may pay both GST and PST for goods and services. Examples of these inside of control are my location, nonprofit, out-of-state, and reseller. Now, it's time for a demo. Let's take a look on how to change sales tax liabilities and tax classes inside of Cyrious Control. For our example today, let's take our friends in British Columbia. They're going to need to change their tax rates from HST to GST and PST, and sometimes those taxes will be separate. So let's go to Setup, Accounting Setup, and we'll need to do two things. Let's go to Chart of Accounts, let's go to Liabilities, and let's choose Sales Tax Liabilities. The default accounts this comes with is my county tax, my state tax, and national sales tax. Let's clone my county tax and create GST. We'll simply come to the account name, type in GST. Now, if you use QuickBooks or any other third-party software for accounting side, then you're going to want to change the external account name and the account number depending on which software you're using to correspond with what you have in that third-party software so that it will link correctly to the tax class that you want. So what I'm going to do is create me a new account called GST Tax Payable, and this would be the same name I would have in QuickBooks so that when this comes over and any information that's in this tax will come over into QuickBooks. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the tax rate to 5%, and I'm going to set this to my location. You'll see why we set it to this in a second. Let's save that, clone it one more time, and let's name this one PST. Now that we've named that, same thing applies here. I'm going to change the external account name so that when I bring it over into QuickBooks, it will have the correct name and information. And remember, the change you make here will be the same change you would make in QuickBooks or any other third-party software. Now, I'm going to change this rate to 7%. Now that that's set, I'm going to set it to my location. Let's save it. Once we're done with that, we'll click over into tax classes. Now you'll see automatically we have GST and PST set to our tax class of my location. But what does that really mean? What that means is any customer that I put in the system or I manually put in the system that's set to the tax class of my location will be charged both GST and PST. But the question comes up, what if I need to charge them separately? Great question. Let me show you how to fix it. If I do a new tax class, I come here at the top and I can say PST. And I tell it to include the selected tax class here, and I choose PST. Save it. That part's done. It's that simple. You will repeat the same thing for GST so that you would have another tax class just for GST. And that's it. So, one more thing. What if a particular product or service is only taxable within one area and not the other? How would you handle changing what taxes are charged on certain products in Cyrious Control? Glad you asked. Let's take a look on how to change taxability codes in Cyrious Control. So, let's do a demo showing how to change taxability codes and adding them to the product so that you can only charge, if you want, GST or PST or separate. Let's go to Setup, Accounting Setup, then let's go down to Taxability Codes, and let's choose, for this particular demo, let's choose Installation. Notice that installation right now is set to not taxable. What we could do is say it is taxable only with PST. save it. Now, if I need to tell a product to be taxable in one area and not taxable in the other, I do the same thing by going to Setup, but Pricing Setup, All Pricing Setup, then you go to Product Setup. Let's say, for instance, we want to go to Installation. So I'll find Installation of Non-Electric Signs. I'll click the Accounting button here, and then I'll have Taxability Codes where I can come in and change. Notice it's already set to Installation. So if I go back to Installation, it says Installation is only charging PST and not GST. And you can do this for every product that you have, separately or not. And that's it.